Rome, 41 CE. A philosopher named Seneca stands before Emperor Claudius, accused of adultery with the emperor's niece. The charge is probably false, invented by political enemies. The punishment is death. Seneca watches Claudius deliberate. He knows that any sign of anger, any flash of indignation at the injustice, any visible resentment could be the thing that tips the verdict toward execution. He must remain perfectly calm while powerful men decide whether to kill him. Claudius commutes the sentence to exile, 8 years on the island of Corsica. Seneca survives. Later, he will be recalled to Rome to tutor the young Nero, a boy who will grow into history's most infamous tyrant. For years, Seneca will advise a man who murders his mother, kicks his pregnant wife to death, and burns Christians as garden torches. Through all of it, Seneca must control his reaction, not because anger is spiritually wrong, because anger, in his world, is physically fatal. This is the man who wrote the definitive text on anger, not from a comfortable distance, from inside the machine that could crush him at any moment. Seneca's treatise On Anger was written around 41 CE, addressed to his brother Novatus. It remains the most comprehensive ancient work on the subject. Seneca defines anger as a brief madness, not metaphorically, literally. He observed what modern neuroscience has confirmed. When anger takes hold, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational decision-making, is largely bypassed. The amygdala triggers a cascade of stress hormones that prepare the body for physical violence. Heart rate spikes, blood pressure rises, the ability to consider consequences collapses. You are, in a measurable physiological sense, temporarily insane. Seneca watched this happen in the imperial court. Men who were brilliant strategists would say things in anger that destroyed decades of careful positioning. Emperors would issue orders in rage that they would regret by dinner, but could not retract. Anger was not just a personal failing, it was a tactical vulnerability that enemies could exploit. This is the first play. Catch the spark before the fire. Seneca observed that anger builds in stages. First, there is an initial impression, something that seems like an offense. Then there is a judgment that the offense was intentional and unjust. Then there is the decision to retaliate. Full anger exists only at the third stage. The earlier stages can be interrupted. The key is recognizing what Seneca calls the first movements, the physical sensations that precede conscious anger, the flush of heat, the tightening of muscles, the quickening of breath. These are warnings. Once you learn to notice them, you have a window to intervene before rational control is lost. Your move. Learn your personal warning signs. What does your body do in the 3 seconds before anger takes over? Does your jaw clench? Do your hands tighten? Does your breathing change? Identify your signals. That identification creates the gap where choice becomes possible. Seneca proposed a systematic filter for any potential provocation. Before reacting, run 3 questions. First, is it happening? Sometimes we become angry at things we imagined, assumed, or misinterpreted. Someone's comment feels like an insult when it was actually neutral. Someone's silence feels like rejection when they were simply distracted. Before anger, confirm that the offense actually occurred as you perceived it. Second, is it unjust? Even if something happened, was it actually wrong, or was it within normal bounds of human imperfection? People make mistakes. People are careless. People prioritize themselves. This is not injustice. It is reality. Third, is it worth my peace? Even if something happened and it was genuinely wrong, does it merit the cost of anger? Anger always has a cost. It costs you physiologically, emotionally, and often relationally. Is this offense significant enough to pay that cost? Most provocations fail at least one of these filters. Many fail all 3.
This is the second play. Run the triple filter. Seneca's 3 questions buy time and force analysis. Is it happening? Is it unjust? Is it worth my peace? Most anger evaporates under this examination. The insult that felt deliberate was actually thoughtless. The injustice that felt outrageous was actually trivial. The offense that felt worth fighting over is revealed as too small to sacrifice your equilibrium. The filter does not prevent all anger. Some things pass all three tests, but it prevents the vast majority of angry responses that you would later regret. Your move. Memorize these three questions. The next time you feel anger rising, pause and run the filter. You will be amazed how rarely genuine, justified, worthwhile anger occurs once you actually examine it. Seneca recommended a practice that sounds counterintuitive. Deliberately imagine the annoyances you will face before they occur. He called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning, consider what frustrations the day might bring. The meeting that will run late, the colleague who will disappoint, the driver who will cut you off, the technology that will fail. By imagining these in advance, you rob them of their power to surprise. Anger is fueled partly by the gap between expectation and reality. When you expect smooth and receive rough, the friction generates rage. But when you expect rough and receive rough, there is no friction. The annoyance arrives exactly as predicted. You were ready. Seneca was not being pessimistic, he was being prepared. The Stoic who expects difficulty is not bothered by difficulty. They have already experienced it in imagination. The real thing is just a confirmation. This is the third play. Rehearse the annoyance. Most anger comes from surprise. You expected one thing and got another. The surprise amplifies the offense because you feel caught off guard, unprepared, made a fool of. Seneca's premeditation removes the surprise. You have already faced this annoyance in your mind. When it arrives in reality, it is familiar. Familiar does not trigger rage the way unexpected does. Your move. Each morning, spend 2 minutes considering what could go wrong today. Not catastrophizing, just acknowledging possibility. What delays might occur, what people might disappoint, what systems might fail. This is not negativity, it is inoculation. The annoyances you rehearse lose their power to destabilize you. Seneca observed that anger always requires an interpretation. Something happens, and then we tell ourselves a story about what it means. Someone arrives late and we interpret it as disrespect. Someone disagrees with us and we interpret it as attack. Someone fails to notice our contribution and we interpret it as deliberate diminishment. The interpretation is the anger, not the event itself. The event is neutral until we assign meaning to it, and we can assign different meaning. The person who arrived late might be struggling with problems we know nothing about. The person who disagreed might be genuinely trying to help us see something we missed. The person who did not notice our contribution might be overwhelmed with their own pressures. These alternative interpretations are not naive denial. They are simply acknowledgement that we do not know other people's internal states. We are guessing. And if we must guess, why guess in the direction that produces rage?
This is the fourth play. Choose the interpretation. Seneca understood that we cannot control events, but we can control the stories we tell ourselves about events. The same facts can support multiple narratives. Anger requires choosing the narrative that paints others as villains, but that is a choice. We can choose differently, not to be doormats, not to accept genuine abuse, but to default to charitable interpretation where evidence is ambiguous. Your move. The next time you feel offended, pause and ask what else could be true. What story about this situation would not require me to be angry? If that story is plausible, why not choose it? You are not lying to yourself. You are selecting among equally valid interpretations the one that serves you rather than destroys you. Seneca practiced a daily evening review that he learned from his teacher Sextius. Each night, after the household was quiet, he would examine his day. What did I do poorly?
What could I have done better? Where did I fail to meet my own standards? He focused particularly on instances of anger or irritation. He would replay the scene, ask what triggered him, evaluate whether his response was proportionate, and consider how he would handle it differently. This was not self-flagellation, it was debugging. He was looking for patterns, for vulnerabilities, for recurring triggers that he could prepare for. Over time, this practice reprogrammed his responses. The situations that once triggered automatic anger became familiar enough that he could catch himself earlier and earlier in the sequence. This is the fifth play. Conduct the evening tribunal. Seneca's nightly review was a systematic approach to self-improvement. By examining each day's anger incidents, he learned his own patterns. Certain situations triggered him reliably. Certain people got under his skin. Certain interpretations he reached too quickly. The review made these patterns visible. Once visible, they became changeable. Your move. Each night before sleep, review any moment when you felt anger. Do not judge yourself, just examine. What triggered it? What story did you tell yourself? What would you do differently? This is not guilt, it is training. The person who examines their anger patterns will eventually master them. The person who never examines will repeat them forever. Seneca eventually died at Nero's command. In 65 CE, implicated in a conspiracy against the emperor, he was ordered to commit suicide. By all accounts, he faced his death calmly, continuing to dictate philosophy as his life drained away. Some historians view this as proof his philosophy worked. Others see it as evidence that nothing could have saved him anyway. What is certain is that for 25 years, Seneca navigated the most dangerous environment in the ancient world, serving some of history's most volatile rulers, and survived as long as he did, partly because he had mastered the emotion most likely to get him killed. His anger management was not self-help, it was survival technology. What do we take from a philosopher who served tyrants? Catch the spark before the fire. Learn your warning signs and intervene early. Run the triple filter. Is it happening? Is it unjust? Is it worth my peace? Rehearse the annoyance. Premeditate daily frustrations so they cannot surprise you into rage. Choose the interpretation. Select the story that does not require you to be angry. Conduct the evening tribunal. Review anger incidents nightly to learn your patterns. Seneca wrote about anger from inside the mouth of the beast. His life depended on applying his own principles. That gave his advice an accountability that most philosophy lacks. 2,000 years later, neuroscience confirms what Seneca observed through introspection. Anger is a temporary madness. It bypasses the rational brain. It creates regret with mechanical reliability, but it is not inevitable. It can be caught, filtered, prepared for, reinterpreted, and reviewed. The technology Seneca built to survive the Roman court still works. The tyrants are different now. The anger is the same.
If you want to master yourself, hit subscribe. New playbook every day. I'll see you tomorrow.